Hi, this is Walter Weesey with Yellowstone Country Fly Fishing, and what I'm doing this week is a technique video. This is how I wrap Peacock Herl and how I reinforce it with super glue, and then I'll show you at the end why I reinforce it with super glue and how durable it makes your flies. So I've just got a size 12 nymph hook here in the vise, and then I've got some orange thread just for contrast sake, and then I'm tying in about 5 strands of Peacock Herl here, and then on a big hook like this, I'll do a little bit of an underbody like that with the thread wraps crisscrossing, and I'll tie in the peacock at the front. On a smaller fly, 2 strands of peacock, I'm going to probably just tie in the peacock at the back and leave it as is. And then I've finished with my thread hanging from the hook shank there, just kind of butted right up against that peacock there at the back. And then here's where the magic happens. I'm going to be reinforcing this using super glue. You always need to reinforce your Peacock Herl, but the conventional ways of doing that are to use thread wraps or wire and so on. You can do that. It doesn't make a fly as durable as this, and I think it actually mats the fibers down more. One other note, you want to use the all-purpose super glue like this. The craft super glue dries too slow, and so it tends to run. Anyway, I've got this super glue brush that I've taken about half the fibers out of, and I'm just going to liberally apply that to the hook shank. And with a bigger hook like this, you can be pretty aggressive. Now, in real life, I'd probably be done by now, but I'm going to really gob this on there just to kind of show you what it does to the fly. I mean, you can see there's almost enough super glue there to drip, and that's not going to make any difference in terms of how the fly looks. And I'm clearly not used to shooting with the camera on my side here, but I'm just going to wrap that peacock into the thread. You see how I'm just wrapping it right up to the thread there, and that keeps it all together. If you wrap peacock with a thread at the front as you would on a normal body material, the strands tend to come apart. So then I'm just going to tie that off, and you can probably tell already that doesn't look any different than any normal Peacock Herl body as is. Even though I wrapped it over that giant gob of super glue. If I was actually tying a real fly, if I was tying a soft tackle or something right now, I would just tie in my soft tackle and finish the fly as I normally would. And I'm going to go ahead and actually just put a couple half hitches here just to demonstrate the durability that super glue creates. Now I am going to pause the video for a minute here, and I'll come back in. I want to let that super glue set up before I really show you how durable it makes the fly. All right, so I've given that a minute or two. So let's imagine I'm out fishing with this orange thread and peacock contraption, and I've caught a few fish on it. I banged it off a few logs, etc. Coming in here, this is a gun brush, and I use this as a dubbing brush on, when I want to be really aggressive with a dubbing brush, and I use that to pick out, hare's mask or other such things. And I'm going to come in here, and you can see, this is metal, and I am just rooting on that fly, digging on it, and all that fuzz you see is just stuff that's coming off the brush because it's kind of a dirty brush. The peacock itself has gotten maybe a little beat up, taking a few of those strands off, but it's otherwise all right. Now I'm going to one-up that. I'm going to come in here with a razor blade, and I'm actually shaving that peacock off the top of the hook. So there are no more contiguous strands of peacock. That's just the glue holding that in place. See here, I'm down to bare shank on the top of that hook shank, or at least down to the thread, and it's not going anywhere, and it continues to not go anywhere even when I go in like this. Now it's going to start falling apart, of course, and if I come back in with my gun brush, that's probably going to start ripping off a few of those strands. But you can see how that is not completely disintegrating. In fact, it's just starting to come off the hook now. There's my body, or half my body, and it's still recognizably together, even though it's not even on the hook anymore. Now, imagine that all you're doing is dealing with trout teeth and banging it off of rocks and so on and so forth. This technique makes your flies very, very durable, and I suggest you try it. It's December 30th today. You still have today and tomorrow to give me a call to book a guided trip at 2024 rates for 2025. If you can't do that, but you found this video helpful, I'd appreciate it if you drop a buck or two into my Buy Me a Coffee tip jar that you'll see the link for in the description. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.